Hello everybody, today I'm going to be continuing my H3VR modding tutorial series and showing you how to attach scripts to your custom objects. Right here I've made an example object which is just a cube with this button on top. This mod will detect when the player touches the button and then explode. Alright, now let's get to programming the mod. I've already set up an example project, empty project here, and I recommend you do too. Now I'm just going to create a new class. Remove what you already have in SRC. We're not going to be using that, and create a new class which I'm going to be calling button.cs. So now we have this. We're going to make that public class called button. Now, in order for this to be used in Unity, we need to inherit, which in C# is a colon after the class name, from monoBehavior. It's going to give you an error about how it's not found. You can just be using Unity engine to resolve this. Perfect. Now let's start programming it. Well, actually, first let's test it. We're going to do public. Actually, no, because this has to be on the button. We're going to do, this means an attribute in C#. This gives the current class an attribute. Required component, because we need a specific component on it. Name of, we're getting the name of a specific class. And the class name is going to be, box collider, here. We need a box collider on our... Oh, wait. We need type of box collider, not name of. So, we need the box collider because that's what lets us detect if the hand touches the box. That's perfect. Alright, so, we're going to write some more code here. So, public void... Oh, actually, we're just going to... private void awake if, well, actually we're also going to make a private variable, private box collider, which is going to be a current collider, button collider. Now, on our wake method, we're going to assign the value of button collider. So button collider is equal to get component. So it's going to get component in the current object, and the type we're trying to get is of course box collider. So it's going to get the box collider, and now we're going to check if the box collider has the trigger. If we look right here, it says is trigger. That needs to be selected or else this will not work. So if under button collider dot is trigger, and we're going to put an exclamation mark at the front saying that it's not trigger, we're going to write debug dot log error box collider on object. Then we're going to put in the name of the object, which we can do by doing this dot name is not a trigger. Perfect. So now what we can do, build solution. Give it a second, and there we go. So now let's go into, right now I just have it set up right here. This is where my assembly builds to, and right here I have my assets. I'm going to create a new folder, this is required, called plugins, and in this folder you have to put your mod you created. Perfect. Go into Unity, give it a bit. Okay, perfect. So now if we look in plugins, we have this script here, and if we look in this drop down, it's called button. So now we can just write add component, search up button. This is the one we want. And now if we play this, what will say? Box collider on button is not triggered because we do not have trigger set. Perfect. We're just going to write return just so it doesn't keep going. So what we need to do is not use this update function, but we're going to use the onCollision enter function. So private void onCollision enter, and we need to right in here collider. This just tells us what collider we're going to be using. So if collider dot game object dot get component. So if it can get the component of H3VR Vive hand, which is what Anton calls his, every instance of your player hand, then first thing we have to do using H3VR. So then if it found a component in the collider which has H3VR Vive hand, then what it's going to do is we're going to make a new variable. So H3VR will actually game object obj is equal to collider.game. In fact, to make this better performant, what we're going to do is we're going to do game object obj is going to equal to collider.get game object. So now if instead of this we're going to write obj.get component H3VR Vive hand, then we're going to do game object hand is equal to obj.get component H3VR Vive hand. So what's it doing is that we're getting the object of of what's going into the collider, and if it is an H3VR Vive hand, so if it's a player hand, then game object. Actually, no, we're going to change this to H3VR. Then what we're going to do is hand dot. Now inside the H3VR Vive hand, there should be a property we can use, which will allow us to device name get the player, the actual player. So give me a second to find it. Dot. Actually, let's just check in the actual H3VR Vive hand. Oh, never mind, it can't. If you do want to check in the actual H3VR code, and it's very useful, there's a lot of things in the H3VR code which is good for understanding how the game works and how to make your mods. Download this program called DNSpy. In DNSpy, press the search button, and then search up the class you want. H3VR Vive hand. And here we can see everything we need. We have the functions, we have the properties, we have everything. The properties are harder to see, but they're here at the bottom. So we need to find where is it? Public. Oh wait, no, actually, just as we did in the last tutorial where we used game manager, we can do the same thing in here. We can do gm dot current player body, that gives us an H3VR player body, dot kill player. Now from self, yes, because the player is the one who touches it. So there we go. And now, what if we actually don't even need this line of code, because gm.currentPlayerBody handles it all for us. Perfect. Now let's build this and put it into Unity. Oh, okay, so it's succeeded. Oh, whoops. Okay, can edit that out. Put it into plugins, replace file. Now once we load in, oh, whoops. Script error on collision enter. The message parameter has to be of type collision. Oh, collision. Collision. There we go. It doesn't actually matter because it's the same, but still. Make sure, watch the console. It explains how to fix errors very well. So we're gonna drag this in. Perfect. So now it should compile, and there's no errors that we need to know of in the console. That's great. So now to finish off our object, we're gonna add a new H3VR physical object, and I'm just gonna quickly do this. Won't bore you with the details. Okay, once you have your exported asset bundle here, we can now bundle it into a deli mod. So what we can do now is find where you have your program that script that you created. So for me, I'm just opening it on my monitor on the right here. I have to build a new one. Just give me a second. Build. And we're going to place this right here. So now that we have that there, what we're going to do, open this in your favorite text editor or something. Make a new file in here. New text document. Call it manifest.json. Yes. Alright. So now what you need to do is paste in this file whatever, paste in this file. Oh, whoops. What you have, this example on the other loader GitHub page. And we're going to change the GID to net.cplet.button. Requires other loader, name is going to be the button. Description. Author, it's just going to be me. Now, this is where it gets interesting. We're going to replace this one with deli assembly. Oh no, we're going to replace this with the name of our assembly. So if we rename this and copy this .pl, then we're going to change this to deli assembly. Perfect. Now this one right here, we're going to change from being another asset name to button, and then that's going to be deliloader.deli item. Alright, we now have that all set up. We can take this 7-zip, export, change it to whatever you want, name it to button, and now finally you can just place this in deli mods, paste. You now have a fully working H3VR custom item which uses a custom script. If you had any issues with this item, make sure to check if this right here in custom object. Make sure to check the physical object is actually is configured properly, as I most likely did not set that up properly. But if you have problems with the button, please don't be afraid to put a comment down. Just put a comment down, and I'll try and help you as fast as I can. But that is going to be it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that your mod works and it'll be as epic as this exploding button I made.